Hi, I'm Mark Kislingbury, and I'm here at my new school, the Mark Kislingbury Academy of Court Reporting. And I want to introduce to you one of my students who I believe has a lot to share on how to improve and how to maximize your student education. She is virtually an ideal student, I have to say. She has done everything and more that I would expect of a student, and it has really paid off. Her name is Melody Among, and she's 20 years old and comes from Hawaii. And she's wanted to be a court reporter for quite a long time. This month, she has been in the school for only 5 months. She got here March 10th, and today it's about the middle part of August. So it's just about 5 months that she's been here. And during that time, she moved from 60 words per minute up to passing 1-minute takes of fairly difficult material in the 150s, 160s, and she just passed a 172. That's after 5 months, and it's not easy material, it's hard material. Not only that, she's writing excellent real time, 25, 30, 40 words a minute below her top speed. So when it's 120, 130, 140, sometimes it comes out in very pretty real time. And we're going to tell you how that happens. But anyway, enough of me. I want you to meet Melody. Hi, Melody.
Hi.
So tell us, what made you want to become a court reporter?
Well, the reason why I wanted to be a court reporter were for two reasons. I used to work for a court reporting firm, and a lot of the women, if they had children or if they were done, if they were retired, they didn't want to quit. They kept on coming back, and they were relatively pleased, and I never saw that much satisfaction in a job before. The second major reason was because I heard that it was very difficult, and nothing's any good if it's not difficult. I mean,
right.
It brings a good reward, satisfaction, and it was definitely something I wanted to consider because I had always liked English and typing, the Dvorak keyboard and such.
So what was the final straw in making you want to become a court reporter?
Well, when I first heard the machine or found shorthand, I was always intrigued about learning a new language, only something you understand, as well as I had been really interested in the Dvorak keyboard and when I was very young, and I gave an oral report and tried to convince everyone that that was the answer to all our problems. And so when I saw the Steno machine and people were telling me that you could go upwards of 200, I mean, it made me excited, and I always loved the machine. And from the first time I felt it, I always loved it. And one of my mentors, Sharon, she told me that you never want to lose that love for the machine, no matter how difficult it gets. In school, you can start to hate it after a while, but I've never lost it. You just love it. Every morning you get to touch it, touch the keys.
That's amazing, because I have a similar thing that happened when they brought the machine to me at my high school. The moment I saw it, I fell in love with that machine. Yeah,
we both had olive green ones too.
Oh, really?
My first one was olive green.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
So, Melody, as I understand it, you actually worked for a court reporting firm in Hawaii before you learned court reporting, right?
Yes, I worked for one of the biggest firms in Hawaii. I bound exhibits and put together transcripts every morning for the deadlines, get all the rushes out, etc. I had certain reporters that I really looked up to, real-time reporters who were very excellent. I mean, they barely made any errors. I mean, on their front pages were flawless. And it was so impressive to me, the way they carried themselves, their demeanor. It was very professional, very clean looking, very simple. I like that. And they seemed very fulfilled and happy with their lives, got to travel and so on. And when I started talking to them about it, they believed that I could do it, and I was even more intrigued by the idea, and that's when I started looking for schools. I got an olive green machine from the owner of that company, and I practiced with your first book. I started practicing the letters and stuff before I started any school. So that was the story behind it.
So what made you learn my theory?
The owner of the court reporting firm gave me some of his old school books. I also received some Sten Ed books somehow, and I received, one of the court reporters said, "Oh, you're going to be starting?" She said, "Well, if there's any theory you should learn, it's Mark's, because he's the world's fastest." And up until then I had never heard or anything about your theory. And she said, "I have a book, you can look over it." So she let me borrow, graciously, she let me borrow your first book, your first theory book, and I had it for a couple of months, and I went through it. I learned the alphabet with it. I learned basic, phrases and such, and it really gave me a head start.
So you didn't even wait for court reporting school, you just decided to start working on it now?
Yeah, I didn't think that it was something that you have to learn in court reporting schools. Just like how you say a lot of schools nowadays, they expect the least of students that are supposed to be the best, in that they can't learn complicated strokes, they can't learn, the alphabet before they come to school. I always wondered, why not? Always question the system, why not? Why can't you go above?
So you're the kind of person that often does question authority and question the system and goes outside the box, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to be discovered and things to learn, and if you're always doing it everyone else's way, you might miss a good opportunity to, thrive.
Right. Now, Melody, I understand that before you showed up at my school, after you had learned my theory, you decided to try an online program. Tell us about that.
Well, there were no schools in Hawaii for court reporting, so I knew I had to look online. I did some research through the JCR and found the various certified online classes. I called each of them up. I listed all of them, called them all, asked them my questions, about 9 questions. I had a little survey whenever each one answered the phone. How long does most students take in your school? What theory do you use? All those kind of things. I wanted to be sure that I was sure about my answer. None of them used your theory. Most of them used Sten Ed. One of them said, it's our theory or nothing, as if someone had tried to, counter it with some other theory in that school.
Yep.
So I finally chose one in California. I went there for about a month. I learned all the keys first because I wanted to be prepared. They dictated at around 30 or slower, and people were complaining that was way too fast, and it was just, they told me the class size was going to be small, so we'd get individual time with the teacher, and it just so happened that my class was the biggest that they've had in a long time, so there's 30-something kids in it. 7 hours or so I was attending a week, and I was paying around $1,000 plus books and things like that, and at the end of that month I didn't get anything that I didn't know other than some of the online dictation, so I finally called it quits.
And you're saying that for 5 days a week you were there only a total of 7 hours, which is a little over an hour a day, is that right?
Yes, they expected you to do everything on your own time, so they provided online dictation, and they counted that as the majority, 75% of their class time. So you had to do 10 hours or so, or of dictation that is recorded, and that the teacher only. And one of the classes was something about stress management and stuff. It had much to do with Steno, the theory part.
So how long were they planning to teach you theory?
A year. They said it was going to take a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you already knew the theory from just reading my book. Had you finished the whole Steno Master Theory book?
Not the whole thing, but I was acclimated with all of the letters of the alphabet and the majority of the short phrases.
Okay. Now, as I understand it, you said that when you got there, they gave you a great deal of trouble the whole time you were there because you were using my theory and not theirs.
Yes, I had brought it up and I said, I really want to use Mark's theory. I tried Sten Ed and it just doesn't compare. And they told me that I could use your theory, but on the test I would have to use their theory, which makes for a very confusing output. And on top of that, the tests were so ridiculously slow that when I was testing one time, I couldn't remember how they did their exclamation point, which I don't even know why we were getting tested on the exclamation point, since it's not even, you're not supposed to put it in a transcript. I had time in the test to look in the Sten Ed book, find the section on punctuation, and put it in, and I was still on the speaker. That's how slow they're dictating.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. For $1,000.
$1,000 a month.
Yeah, plus books.
Wow. So how long did you stay in that online class, and then how did you end up finding my school?
Well, the woman who gave me your theory book, she had told me that that you're opening a school, but I really wanted to start now because I thought, I may as well get a head start, and plus my father's a very strict man, so I didn't just want to fly, that would cause a lot of trouble. So I started online, and after a month, it was a complete month, I didn't learn a thing. Other than the dictation, I literally didn't learn a thing that I didn't already know, and I was paying a lot of money for it, and I really wanted to make it work because I liked working at the court reporting firm. I was comfortable with my life in Hawaii. I always told myself I wouldn't come to Texas, that kind of a thing. But then after that month, I finally saw that there's just no other way. I mean, this is not going to work. 2 theories, try and do 2 theories, you're divided, and I couldn't do it.
I'm sorry, I think you were cut off. Were you saying as a student?
Yeah, as a student, it was just too difficult to try and learn 2 theories at the same time. It was too divided.
Okay.
To have a solid foundation,
Right. So what made you actually decide to come to Texas?
The deciding factor was the fact that the $1,000 price for the school, first of all, and I thought I would have...
The other school.
Yeah, and the fact that I would be one of the first students and things like that, and I would have, just like how I had wanted in that school, I would have individual attention from the teacher to help me succeed, not just be one of the bunch,
Right.